Colleen?
The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you very much, Colleen. I'd like to start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our brethren and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom. Also for all our first responders, our nurses. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add on $150 for DJ for the Milton Hamlet tree lighting. Probably come out of the rec department. So I make that motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, gentlemen. Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Motion to approve minutes from the November 8, 2021 Town Board meeting. Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said. Motion carried. Authorized payment of bills for $196,576.71.
I'll make that motion.
Yes.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said. Motion carried. Pay the bills. I have no presentations. Anybody have any comments on the agenda? No comments on the agenda. Let's move to new business. I need a motion to advertise for Board of Assessment review, one open position.
Make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said. Motion carried. Board of Ethics, two open positions. Need to advertise for that, gentlemen.
Make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said. We'll advertise for two open positions for the Ethics Board and one open position for the Board of Assessment. I have under new business and new illumination standards, I guess Nick Galetta has written to the board and myself. Personally, I don't know how, I don't really feel strongly about this, but
Is it going to be something like the noise ordinance? Remember we couldn't...
well, there's a certain issue. Maybe Tom could help us out with this on the illumination on different houses. Nick is saying that it's like one house has the lighting and it's glaring into another house, and it's like I think you could do a lot of things as far as heights, illumination. You could have covers on them, but who's going to enforce it? That'll be something for the board to decide. I think a code, working with Tom to find out what, you know, what actually we can do and where it's really, how would you, you know, enforce it. So I think that's a couple of things you guys have to understand. I looked at certain things, you know, it's basically a lot of some towns have that are not close to here, but have certain area lighting a certain amount of height distances. And then I guess also the illumination with the guarded illumination, so the light is facing down. So there's a bunch of things I guess we could look at, but
So we have this for commercial now? We have
yeah, commercial, we have all that for
We just don't
commercial.
have it for residential.
Yeah. And I don't know how the board feels about that, if they want to go in that direction.
I think we could look at it, but I think it's gonna be hard to enforce. I mean, who's gonna measure lumens? You know what I mean? I mean, are we talking the amount of lumens? Are we talking the direction of light? Are we talking, I mean, I get it if your neighbor puts a spotlight and aims it right at your house, it could be annoying, disturbing, and uncomforting, but, I mean, how are we gonna enforce this?
Well, I'm thinking too, if, I don't know, there's certain things that I think the homeowner has the right. I don't know if it's a civil thing where the light is invading their space, where a lot of people, you know, that might be one issue that that individual has to take that other individual to court, or I haven't heard of any or a lot of this going on. This is the first time this has actually came up, so I think probably Nick has a concern. Maybe it's happening to him. Usually that's how things start. So I'll leave it up to you guys with how far you want to go with this, and as far as a code is. I get the feeling that maybe down the road we get more and more of these as new people come in, I just don't feel like, at this point where we get into the issue of clotheslines and basketball courts and stuff like that. It's a slippery slope, once you start. So that's my feeling about it. So, but maybe there's a simple code that could really, we could come up with that.
And it would probably only be for new buildings, right? I mean, people are already grandfathered into what they have. I mean,
We get a lot of complaints, Tom, on illumination?
No.
No.
I mean, I could see if, like, when you have a new build, maybe you can enforce it while they're building it. But now that people already have built houses, I don't know how you would enforce
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, we could look at it again.
Okay.
Maybe ask Mr. Gladys, is he having a problem? Like, if he is, what is the problem?
I tried to get a hold of him, but I couldn't get a hold of him.
He gave us a couple of towns to check out.
Excuse me?
He gave us
Yeah,
examples of a couple of
he gave
towns.
the board a couple of, this one here, I think he got it from illumination standards from someplace else. It looks pretty restricted to me, but if you could come up with something that's going to satisfy him, or maybe he's asked, it would seem like if you have relations with your neighbor, I mean, if you just ask him politely, I don't know if that...
That's assuming you have good relations with your
It
neighbor.
works sometimes that works.
So, I mean, you could look at the illumination standards and see if you could come up with something brilliant, but basically I agree with Alan that it's going to be pretty hard to enforce. I mean, and especially maybe on new houses, maybe you could put some standard, like Councilman Corcoran says, but with old houses, what are you going to do? You're going to have people change up and have them guarded, so this way the light doesn't shine in somebody else's. I don't see it myself, but you could look at it. We could look at it. So if anybody else has anything to say or how they feel about it,
You're going to leave it open until next meeting?
yeah,
Okay.
we could dabble in it.
Okay.
Workshop topic, COVID-19, I think we're up to 21. I just, personally, I just got my booster shot, and hopefully everybody gets vaccinated. Sands Avenue Park report, we had a good report from Dave Zambito today. Dave, you want to come up and talk about it, or just... Yeah, why don't you come on up?
Well,
We know what you did, but the public doesn't know.
Gonna take a ride to see it, but it gets dark too soon. That's all. Looks good.
So what we did was, we have the Sands Avenue Park that we started quite a while ago, and it was pretty much combined effort between some of the councilmen here and the supervisor and some private contractors, the highway department, the water department. I mean, it was you know, a very well put together project, and unfortunately this year, we've had, you know, a lot of weather restrictions and whatnot, and it kind of put us behind, a few bumps in the road, but I think it's finally coming together now where the property's been filled in, it's been seeded, it's been, some trees have been planted, and now they just blacktop, which the guy did a beautiful job. And now, before winter sets in, we wanted to back up the sides of the blacktop, because if water gets underneath it, it will erode and it will deteriorate, and it's brand new, so we didn't want to wait too long. So between the highway department, John Alongi, myself, and Damon Roberts, who we got topsoil from today, John delivered 117 yards of beautiful screen topsoil. We were able to spread it, and we're going to let it settle a couple weeks. I'll go back in and rake it, but it is spread, so if we do get snow and whatnot, no water's going to get underneath it. And I'm going to say by midsummer, the place ought to be in great shape. I mean, you know, we're going to have to do a little overseeding and whatnot, but up to this point, like I said before, with all the weather restrictions and everything that we went through, and a lot of people put a lot of time in, a lot of volunteer. I mean, obviously there was stuff there that had to be paid for, but a lot of people came together and volunteered their time, and you know, it's nice to see that community can get together and do stuff like that. So I guess that's it.
It absolutely looks beautiful. I think, you know, a little hesitant when we made the call to do the hydro seeding in the summer when it's time. But I think a lot of it did catch, and then you filled it in the spots.
It did. You know, we can't control the weather. This has been an unprecedented wet season, and you're getting 5 inches of rain in a 6-hour period. You know, nothing holds up. I mean, it's just, you know, so, you know, there was a few barriers there, but I think we got through it. And I think the place is looking really good now, but it's going to look a lot better. You know, springtime, I'll throw a little fertilizer down and touch it up a little bit, and I think it'll be all right. And people today, I was there for most of the day today, and actually saw 3 people, instead of going to the dog park, they actually walked their dog, you know, in the big area that we just put in, so I think
As
it'll
long as
catch
they
on.
pick up the...
Yeah, well, that's another thing we'll have to address at a later point,
They
but,
let it go.
you know, I think when people start seeing, you know, clean parks and whatnot, they tend not to litter so much, and even with the dog thing, we were talking about it a while ago, you and I were talking about it, maybe post some signs up, you know, carry in, carry out facility, not just with the dog park, but like with the town park, with any of our municipal properties. I mean, if the public themselves pitch in a little bit, I think it'll make, you know, everybody else's job easier and keep the cost of maintenance down, you know? I mean, if you gotta send somebody in there on a daily basis to empty garbage and pick up, you know, after their dogs, you know, it's gonna run into, you know, we don't have one park anymore, we got several, so.
Right.
You know, so I think combined effort, I think everything will go smooth.
So, in all full disclosure, Dominic DeBello, who did the blacktop,
Beautiful job.
is my son-in-law, so
Yep.
thank you for...
No, I'm just saying, I've been around a long time, done a lot of projects, and no offense to any of the other blacktoppers you may have had in the past, but this, I wasn't there when he did the job, but I can tell you just from being there today, it was top notch. He did a beautiful job. You could tell he took pride in what he was doing there. He could have, it's an easy place to cut corners here and there, you know what I mean? And a lot of us wouldn't even have noticed it, but he did a great job, he really did.
I was there, and I think Dominic was very impressed with John Alongi and his crew, plus the John brought in Highland, I think, and Gardner.
Oh, the hall, yeah.
The municipal
Sure, yeah.
agreement to
Yep.
bring in, haul in the blacktop, and I think it
Yeah,
worked
again,
out
when everybody
great.
gets together and pitches in, you know, things seem to go, you know, pretty smooth, and you have a good relationship with everybody. I think things, you know,
But you're laying it all down hot.
yeah, well, that's it. Right, exactly right.
And all those trees, a couple didn't make it, a couple...
What do we say, about 2? I
Yeah.
counted 2.
Yeah,
One's up front, right?
But I think if I talk to Tommy in the spring,
yeah, I think he'll help us out, definitely,
and I'll put him in. So.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, David. Thank you
Thanks,
very
David.
much for doing
Thanks
that.
for all your help, Dave.
Thank you.
Howard, do you want to do Milton Landing South Pier? I know that's become a nightmare with you and
Well,
trying to get everything ready for Tom.
we're trying to, so as you all know, Tom had some legitimate concerns about the South Pier and some of the, in trying to get the project to completion and issue a certificate of completeness. There was some paperwork that was needed from various people, a lot of it from Arbin Group. The main one, I don't know if the main one, but an important one was a certificate of insurance, which had expired, even though the project is still officially open, not closed yet. So we did get that certificate of insurance extended to April of next year, 2022, and a certificate was sent to Tom. A lot of the, some other materials from Tig & Bond that Tom requires to check for his checklist, I think were delivered today. Tom, is that true?
I got some stuff, yeah.
Yeah. There are still some outstanding issues that we're trying to work through with Arbin regarding welding certifications and a couple other things which I don't have off the top of my head. We had a call with them on Friday and another one today, this morning, to try to get them to agree to send that. So we're still working through that. They're not being particularly cooperative, so we'll see how that goes. There is also on the Milton Pier project the item regarding the 5 removable railings that have large openings that we want to close with the same kind of material we have on the rest of the railing. And we have drawings from Tig & Bond for that. And we've forwarded that to Arbin, asked them for an estimate. We hope we get an estimate for that. Based on today's conversation, I'm not sure they're interested in doing it, but we'll see. Give them a couple days, I guess. So, trying to work through all the issues that have come to light in the last couple of weeks, and I think we're making progress, but it's a little slow.
What are those removable railings? What are they?
That's for when a big boat comes in, they could remove them and put their gangways down. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And why weren't they meshed with the rest at the time? I mean, what was the reason?
I don't know what the reasoning was. That wasn't the way they were designed.
Was it in the design plan or not in the design? Was it originally, do you know?
It was originally to be open like it currently is.
Okay.
And but now we're going to cover it up with mesh. It's not that big a deal of a project, but Arbin's being a little difficult, I'd say.
Are they being difficult? Is that going to translate into them not moving the floating dock?
I hope not.
Because I haven't heard from Randy, but we're coming to the end of the...
We are, and I wanted to mention that to you. So can you connect with him again?
I can connect with him, yeah.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't become an issue because it can't become an issue.
No.
All right, so,
Can't be an issue.
all right. So, if you could contact him like, in the next day or two.
I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
Okay, if not,
No, I can reach out.
okay, thank you. And then the other item is, of course, the fender piles for the larger boats. And I just got a note from Randy that sort of lays out options, and I will forward that to you guys tomorrow once I get some questions answered from her. The price just keeps going up. The other thing I want to say is one of the companies that is interested, American Cruise Lines, wants to talk to us again, and so I'm going to set up a meeting with them next week after Thanksgiving once BJ is back and see what they want to talk about. Apparently they're very interested in helping us in some way, so I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I'll know better once I have a meeting with them. So that's the story on that. Tom, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Nope.
Okay.
So, but the Randy King thing about taking the floating dock, that's a separate,
I would hope it's a separate thing, but Arbin is claiming that he is a employee of their company, which I don't think he is, so we should be approaching him. We should be approaching them on all this stuff. So that's an example of how they're being difficult here. I don't think he's an employee of the company. I think he's a subcontractor. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So.
And there's no way we could take that out ourselves and if we got it to the edge of our thing and built a,
No.
well, I
something
know
to slide
that
it out?
John was
John
into,
said he could do that.
You know,
You're not gonna
I
pick-
think he wanted
And
to
not-
see how to do it, but I don't, I
Not,
just don't.
not the first
The
time.
machinery that they have, you're not picking that up.
No.
You're not gonna,
He's not picking it up, he's saying he could build a ramp and slide it right up out of the shore. Just pull it out. He said instead of taking it all the way down to Marlborough.
there's floats underneath it.
Maybe after we get some experience the first time to see what it's
Get it
like.
out of the water and look at it this year, and maybe we can engineer something for the future.
Right.
We can get out, but I wouldn't
No,
Not this year.
I wouldn't start poking and prodding at that thing.
no, I wouldn't either. It's delicate.
Really see how it's put together. I mean, who knows? Maybe when it's out, we can modify it into 3 pieces. We can take it out ourselves from here forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could do it. Well, you
It's
never
just
know.
cutting metal and welding metal and throwing some rings, some pins.
Okay.
Okay, you should hear more from me in a day or two about the
So,
latest update.
Thank you, Howard.
You're welcome.
all right, thanks, Hal.
Yep.
Sorry we got this far, and
Yeah.
I know sometimes when a contractor is not cooperative, it could be very challenging. Well, I appreciate you going through all that.
Yep.
Just to let you know, it's not on the agenda, but they started with the Milton Train Station Park. They did the elevations, and they're getting it together, and hopefully they got the shop drawings on the steps and stuff like that. Hopefully they'll start that. Like to once I talk to Supervisor-elect Scott Corcoran, we'll see where that is. Hopefully, we'll finish that grant. I know the Parks and Rec are hoping that we finish it this year. So we got 25,000 in the grant, so it's a 50-50 match. So we have to spend 50,000. We have that in the fund. So hopefully we could get some. They could get the marble steps and all that stuff, and we could
What are they
get.
saying, time-wise?
They're hoping to get it to us in December. So this way, the work they do and the purchasing of the different materials will come up to 50 grand. So this way we could get to 25,000. So, been working with Consortium. He's Matt Consortium. It's a little. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a local guy from I think Waukesha or Newburgh, one of those. But he's working with John Behan also. So, and we'll talk about that.
Al, I just wanted to also, we talked about grants. This is the Cultural Resource Survey report. We had a meeting today with the consultant, Neil Larson, and the committee, and we gave him our comments and our suggested edits. It was a good meeting. Most people feel it's a good report, so probably have the updates done within 2 weeks, and I hope we'll have the final report by the end of the year. And this is the survey we did of the hamlets of Marlborough and Milton and everything in between east of 9W. Very interesting report. It's about 512 houses that were inventoried. And so once I have a updated copy, I'll get it down to all you guys. It's pretty interesting.
So the board will approve that, and then we could put it on the website?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll make copies available to anybody who wants it. And then I would hope maybe next year we consider doing the second phase of this, which is everything else in the town besides the hamlets. So,
Thank you.
yep.
The next thing is the safety procedures for the town hall lockdown. I think that since Jerry's not here, he was going to check on the safety glass at the clerk's office when you first come in, and also similar to what we have downstairs in the police department. But he's not here. He's out hunting like he usually does this time of year. So hopefully we'll get back and maybe we'll have something at the last meeting. I do not have any correspondence except for the one from Nicoletta on the illumination stands. Any public comments? Mark?
want to follow up with the pier issue. Is there, I'm assuming that the pylons will be perhaps the most expensive item.
Yeah.
Do you know how many they are projecting?
Two groups of three each. One group of three on the south side, another group of three on the north side.
Any estimate yet of money?
Yep. I haven't really given it to the board yet, so, yeah.
But you spoke about it publicly at this meeting.
Yeah, it's substantial.
Well, I'm asking for
Over
that.
200,000.
Over 200, is it 300,000?
Hopefully, we're not there yet, Mark.
Are there any other expenses as well, or just that being the most expensive?
That's the most expensive. The other item I talked about, the closing of the railings,
Right,
that's a small item.
right.
Couple of thousand, I hope, something like that.
But I would think that you would want the public to know what, you brought it up publicly at a public meeting, and to not release that.
Well, I have some questions to the consultant that prepared it's a guesstimate, and I want to get her answers before I tell these guys what it is. But yes, it's over $200,000.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you could understand that. We don't have firm quotes yet, so a ballpark figure would be probably a little over 200,000, close to 300,000.
Right, because I think initially, wasn't there talk about 100,000
Yeah,
figure?
initially, the whole bumper system that we took out
Right,
because of budgetary reasons was around $100 and some thousand.
It was valued at $136,000 at that time, something like that.
But probably due to steel prices and everything else that's going on, it bumped it probably a third, like we're finding out a lot of things.
Steel prices and the fact that now we'd have to bring all those resources back up here, the barges, and
Right.
all that.
and
all
there's
the
a short
train-
window to do it, month-wise, right?
There's that also, which we haven't even really gotten into, but yeah, there's a window regarding permitting and so forth. So, like I
Well-
said, we're just trying to weigh our options. There's another proposal to do not the original design, but these, what they call monopiles, just one single pile, which would be less expensive, but I don't think it's, as
Are there
good a system.
issues with the state in terms of getting a permit, or will they permit it to
I
get
think they
another
will
one?
permit it, Mark. We haven't had any problems to date. We haven't gotten to the point where we've asked, okay, we think this is what we want to do. We think this is how much it's going to cost. Now, what's the time frame and what are the permits that are required? The last time they did it by shaking them in place. They didn't pound them.
Right.
So that's much less disturbing to the wildlife. So I think as long as we do that, again, we'll be okay. But I don't know that for sure. We'd have to go back to the DEC. But
But just for clarification, the company, is it Arbin or Titan Bond that's the issue, giving? you said-
Arbin,
Arbin.
contractor that's doing the actual construction. They're being a little slow on some of the things we've asked for in terms of, as I
Right.
mentioned,
Because
certificate
my
of
understanding
insurance.
was there was no CO when you guys opened it publicly at
Right.
that, a couple of
Right.
months ago.
There was not.
And now it's closed, I understand.
It's temporarily closed until we get this insurance issue resolved, yep,
Right, okay.
which
Thanks.
we seem to be close to.
Okay,
Yep, yep.
Thank you, Mark. Any other public comment? So I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow we'll be handing out with the Lions Club, to the seniors, their turkey dinner. If you care to volunteer some time, we'll start at 1 o'clock at the Presbyterian Church. And then we'll be handing out those dinners. Also,
Al, who's going to let you in at the Presbyterian Church, just because we just changed the locks? So
oh, really?
maybe I should,
Steve Jennison.
okay. So
Yeah,
I
do you
prob-
have
what- Yeah, what time do you want me to be there to open up?
Probably around 12:30.
Okay, 12:30, okay,
That'd be good.
yep.
Oh, yeah. That wouldn't be good,
We
everybody
just-
showing up.
And just for the record, want to let everybody know that we'll be doing the blue light ceremony on December 10th at 6 o'clock down at the police station. So that's all I have. There are no resolutions, but I just want to wish everybody a blessed Thanksgiving. Enjoy the family. Stay safe. And we'll see you soon.
Can we make that motion for the $150?
Yeah, and we're going to make a motion for $150 for the DJ for the Milton Hamlet tree lighting. I make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So opposed? None being said. We'll move, and happy birthday to Chris Wilclove today.
That's on December 5th. It starts at 2 o'clock in the Hamlet. 6:30. Tree lighting is at 4. Santa Claus comes at 3. I'll text you the ad.
That was at 6 o'clock for the blue light, right? The 10th at 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Blue light ceremony.
Friday night at 6.
Yeah. Okay. Everything good? That's the shortest meeting. Half hour. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed Thanksgiving. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Enjoy your turkey.